Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us to learn all about MNPS Pre-K. Today we'll be providing information on the Metro Nashville Public Schools Pre-K program, how to apply for Pre-K, and next steps after you apply. Before we get started, we wanted to provide some information to support you during today's presentation. Throughout the presentation, you'll see QR codes at the bottom of the screen. QR codes provide direct web links to information online. To view a QR code, open the camera app on your smartphone device and hold your device so the QR code appears in your screen. You can see a notification with a link. Open the notification to access the web link associated with the QR code. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please use the live event Q&A box to submit your questions. We'll do the best we can to answer all questions. Also, if you'd like to see captions in English or another language, there's a button at the bottom of the screen, to provide you the option to select captions. I'm Marichelle Bonifacio with the MNPS Early Learning Department. In my role as a community outreach specialist, I provide family and community partners with information on kindergarten readiness and MNPS's early learning programs. And joining me today and helping us with the Q&A is Phyllis Phillips, MNPS Early Learning Department Director of Pre-K Programs. Today, we'll be providing information on the following: a Pre-K program overview, how to apply for MNPS Pre-K program. We'll be providing information on the different types of Pre-K programs that are available, next steps after you apply for Pre-K, information on what you can expect after you apply, and family resources. These are additional resources available to families. This is an exciting time for so many families. For some families, it's the first time their child is going to school. So we wanted to provide you with an overview on the MNPS Pre-K program so you've become familiar with the program. Currently, MNPS has 188 Pre-K classrooms across Davidson County, which serve 3,300 students. MNPS provides a quality Pre-K program. In a quality program, you develop the whole child, which means academic and social-emotional development that is appropriate at the child's level. The program emphasizes positive interactions between children and their teachers, peers, and the environment. Most of our classrooms are utilizing creative curriculum. It's a high-quality play-based curriculum which provides diverse learning opportunities where activities are driven by the students. Teachers encourage and support children to play and explore as a path to learning. The curriculum integrates math, literacy, and social-emotional learning. We also do have Montessori programs, and Montessori sites implement the Montessori Curriculum, which encourages students to become independent learners through hands-on experiences that prepare children academically and socially for success throughout their schooling career and practical life. MNPS provides the same environment for each Pre-K classroom across the district. So in other words, what that means is that a Pre-K classroom in Hermitage will look like a Pre-K classroom in Antioch. Each classroom has the same materials, furniture, and curriculum. Pre-K is a voluntary program, meaning that it's not mandatory requirement to attend Pre-K. However, since it's a voluntary program, we do have an application process. Remember, Pre-K does help prepare children for kindergarten. Also, the MNPS Pre-K program serves children 4 years of age with some exceptions, and we'll discuss some of those exceptions on today's presentation. And most of the information that will be discussed today and reviewed in today's presentation will be found on the MNPS Early Learning website, which is earlylearning.mnps.org. There are 3 simple steps to apply for Pre-K. We'll be going through each step on today's presentation. The steps are 1, choose a program that fits your child's needs. 2, gather all the documents you need, and 3, apply online at mnps.org. Now let's go through the steps to apply for Pre-K. Step 1, it's important to choose a program that best fits your child's needs. As a parent or guardian, you know the best environment your child thrives in, and we have several options you can apply for. We do recommend that you review the MNPS Pre-K program guide that's located on the MNPS website to guide you in selecting which schools you want to apply to. For Pre-K, remember, you do not have to attend your zone school. Here's an overview on the different Pre-K program options. Early learning centers. These school sites are dedicated pre-K learning hubs that focus on preparing students for kindergarten in an exclusive early learning setting. What that means is that only pre-K students are at these school sites. Students will have outdoor experiences, social and emotional learning activities, and structured play designed to support academics. Another option is school-based classrooms. School-based classrooms are located in elementary schools across the district. School-based classrooms provide the same pre-K curriculum that is provided in the ELCs. However, it's in an elementary school setting. A third option is Montessori. Montessori classes bring together children in multi-age groups, rather than classes comprised of just one age. Normally, they span 3 age levels, so a child's classroom in Montessori may contain preschool, pre-K, and kindergarten students. Each Montessori site follows a child-centered educational method developed by Maria Montessori. On the photos in the screen, you can see the outdoor garden at one of our early learning centers. It's in the bottom corner, and that's an ELC students. They actually have access to those outdoor garden areas, and it's a great learning opportunity. Also, the other photo shows us an example of a student activity during the classroom's tree study. Many of our pre-K classrooms utilize a classroom study that allows students to investigate a particular topic, such as trees, pets, or clothes, over the course of several weeks. Here's a copy of the MNPS Pre-K program guide that is available on the MNPS website. The web link is at the bottom of the screen. Most of the information discussed on today's presentation can be found at that web link, and you can also use that QR code as well. The guide lists all the MNPS school sites with the pre-K program, as well as information on which programs accept 3-year-olds and sites that have before and after care programs. Please note that the pre-K program for students is Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And this excludes Montessori sites. Montessori programs are 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. We recommend that as you review the guide, you create a list of 7 school sites in your order of preference. The guide also indicates sites that have blended classrooms. Blended classrooms are designed for students with and without disabilities. Class sizes are typically smaller and seats are limited within blended programs. Also, some sites have income requirements since pre-K is funded by state and local funding. So the MNPS Pre-K program is a fee-based program, which means fees are charged on a sliding scale and could range between $0 to $144 per week per child, depending on your household income. The fee does not include before and after care programs. Fees. Once you've selected a pre-K program, you're now ready for step 2, gather all documents. A parent or legal guardian must upload the following documents to receive an MNPS student identification number through the MNPS Enrollment Center online portal. A student ID number is needed to apply for pre-K online. You will need to gather the following: a birth certificate or record of birth. Children must turn 4 years old on or before August 15th of the school year you're applying to. So for the 22-23 school year, your child must be 4 years on or before August 15, 2022. Some exceptions include programs that accept 3-year-olds. To qualify for those programs, a child must be 3 years of age on or before August 15th of the school year they're applying to. Proof of residency or address. This would include a current utility bill, lease, or homeowner's policy, and the document must be in the parent or legal guardian's name. Also, a parent or guardian photo ID, such as a driver's license, state-issued ID passport, or military ID. Once you have all your documents, you're ready for step 3. You can now visit the MNPS website to upload your documents for a student ID and apply for pre-K. To obtain a student ID number, you must upload the documents we just reviewed to the MNPS Enrollment Center online portal. Once all required documents are uploaded and reviewed, you'll receive an email with your child's student ID number. If you have questions or issues during this step, you can contact your local MNPS Enrollment Center. The Enrollment Center contact information is on the MNPS website. If you already have an MNPS student ID number for your child, you do not need to obtain a new student ID number. Once you have received a student ID number, you must complete a pre-K application online. You will need to complete and submit an online pre-K application through the MNPS website. Now, the 22-23 pre-K application opens on March 1st, 2022. Families can begin to apply for pre-K on that day. We do encourage families to apply between March 1st through 31st with a 3:30 p.m. deadline on the 31st to be included in the initial selection process. Families that apply after March 31st will be placed based on availability. Please make sure when you're on the website for the pre-K application that you select the correct school year that you're applying for. Also, just on the application, you can list up to 7 pre-K program sites, and please make sure you list them in your order of preference. Also, please make sure that when you're on the website for the application, that it is for pre-K applications, since we have other other MNPS programs with similar applications. To access the MNPS Enrollment Center online portal or the online pre-K application, visit earlylearning.mnps.org. There are also step-by-step instructions on that webpage. So you can become familiar with the websites we discussed earlier. Here's the MNPS Enrollment Center online portal. Through this website, you can obtain your MNPS student ID number. And just make sure to select the correct year. Once you have your student ID number, this is the MNPS Pre-K application website, so it does look different. Families would complete and submit a pre-K application through this website that you see. Through this website, also families can view if they've been accepted for a pre-K seat. They can also accept their pre-K seat and check their waitlist position. When you create your personal login information for this website, please make sure to keep your login information as well as your student ID number. If you cannot access the MNPS online portal or the pre-K application website or have any issues, please contact the MNPS Enrollment Center to schedule a pre-K application appointment. Many families wonder what happens after they submit a pre-K application. So if you're selected for a pre-K seat, you'll receive a pre-K program acceptance letter. The letter is going to be sent via email or text, and you'll have instructions on how to accept your pre-K seat. Additional documents will be required, and there will be a deadline date in that letter. Please follow the instructions and the deadline in the letter. It is very important that you complete this process to accept your pre-K seat. The additional documents that will be required at that time will be income documentation, current student physical record, and current immunization record. Now, if you're placed on a wait list, you may still have the opportunity to be selected for a pre-K program. Waitlists are maintained throughout the school year, and if you are selected for a pre-K seat, you'll receive a letter via email or text. You can check your waitlist status through the same website that's used to apply for pre-K. Earlier, we had mentioned that MNPS Pre-K is a fee-based program, and fees are charged on a sliding scale and can range between $0 to $144 per week per child, depending on your household income. You can view the sliding scale at the website below to find out how to prepare for what program fees you may have for the school year. MNPS also has a tuition assistance program. Tuition assistance will offer a reduced tuition rate to qualifying families accepting a pre-K fee-based seat. Families currently experiencing hardship, family emergency, or trauma that meet the criteria will qualify to submit a pre-K tuition assistance application, along with documentation. Application along with documentation will be reviewed by pre-K leadership for consideration. Also, if you're selected for a pre-K seat and will need before and after care, it's important that you make before and after care arrangements for your child prior to the start of school. On the pre-K guide, you can view which school sites have a before and after care program for pre-K age students. The following are a few resources to help your family get ready for pre-K. The Welcome to Pre-K guide is available on the MNPS website. The guide provides information to get ready for MNPS Pre-K. We mentioned the Early Learning website throughout this presentation. The site features a section called Countdown to Kindergarten. The section features information to help families get ready for kindergarten. Families can find information on kindergarten readiness, at-home activities, and the MNPS Summer Activity Guide. The site also features Learning at Home, which provides families with over 30 lessons centered on books that can be found at your local library or online. These lessons provide another learning opportunity at home. For more information and activities, families can visit www.mnps.org/countdown to kindergarten or access the website through the QR code at the bottom of the screen. The Early Learning Department also shares information and resources through the department's Facebook and Twitter page. You can follow MNPS Early Learning Program information through our social media handle, which is @MNPS Pre-K. Families can find information on program updates, weekly tips, and resources throughout the year. You can also access the information we reviewed today through our MNPS Early Learning Bitmoji. There are direct links to information we went over today, and you can access the Bitmoji through the QR code at the bottom of the screen. So every one of those little boxes in the Bitmoji go directly to that information we went over today. As you go through the application process, if you have any questions, here is contact information that you can connect with for assistance. Also, we recommend that you visit the website below since most of the information we shared today is on the webpage. The QR code will take you to that webpage as well. You may also want to take a photo of the slide just so you have the contact information. If you want information on a specific MNPS school site, please visit the school's website to learn more about their school. If you go to MNPS.org, there is a little button at the front of that page, and you can actually see different schools' web pages. Today's presentation will also be archived and can be accessed on the MNPS Countdown to Kindergarten YouTube channel, and the website address is www.youtube.com/c/MNPS Countdown to Kindergarten. Thank you for the opportunity to share this information with you, and we look forward to seeing your child be part of the MNPS Pre-K program. Now we're going to go ahead and open it up for questions. If anybody has any questions, you can use the chat box. And Phyllis, just let us know if we have any questions.
Okay, Marichelle, we do have one question.
Okay, great.
All right, and the question is, when do we typically find out if we are accepted?
Do you have the answer, Phyllis?
Yes, I have the answer. I wasn't sure if you were going to answer.
Okay.
So this year, the first selection will be done on April 18th. Families will find out on April 18th by way of email or text if their child has been selected in the first round or if they are on the waiting list, and they will find out that wait list number. Families that are not accepted on April 18th, please know that we will continue to make pulls or selections throughout the year until we fill the classroom, and as vacancies occur, we will make additional selections.
And this is why we encourage families to apply before March 31st at the 3:30 p.m. deadline so that you're part of the initial selection process. So you'll have that information as far as you'll get it by text or email. Any other questions?
Right now, Marichelle, that is all we have.
Okay. We'll give everybody one more minute in case anyone's typing. If you have questions, just feel free to put them in the Q&A box and we'll do our best to answer them.
All right, Marichelle, we do have another question. How do I find the school guide on the website? Do any programs have built-in aftercare? What time does aftercare end?
Okay, good question. So if you go to earlylearning.mnps.org, or if you go ahead to that QR code, go under Pre-K programs, and then you go to Pre-K programs or Pre-K options. The Pre-K program guide will be listed there. And that's the guide that I had shown you earlier. It has about 4 pages. It has all the school sites that have a Pre-K program. So just to let you know, not every MNPS elementary school has a Pre-K program. So that's why we have this guide to help guide you. And it'll also indicate which sites have a before and after care program. And also, if anyone needs assistance, if you need direct information, I just want to let you know, Phyllis and I check this email address, which is earlylearningprek@mnps.org. It's on the screen right now. It's our department or early learning department email address. So you can always send us questions there if you have individual questions.
Okay, thanks, Marichelle. We do have another question. Do I have to get another student ID?
No, you do not. If you already have an MNPS student ID number for the child that would be going into Pre-K, you do not need to get another student ID number. What you would need to do is now complete a Pre-K application when it opens up on March 1st.
All right, great questions, guys. Here's another one, Michelle. Do 3-year-olds need to be fully potty trained in order to enroll in a 3-year pre-K seat? And I'll take that question,
Okay.
Michelle. So no, our 3-year-olds do not have to be fully potty trained. We do encourage that families begin the potty training process, but they do not have to be fully potty trained. And Michelle, we have another one.
Okay.
Do all MNPS preschools get out at 2 p.m.?
Most do get out 2 p.m. The exception would be the Montessori program. The Montessori program, and we have 2 Montessori programs. We have Hull Jackson and Stanford, and they get out at 3 p.m.
Okay, let's wait a few seconds to see if we get any additional questions.
And if we happen to miss your question, feel free again to email us at earlylearningprek@mnps.org. All right, Phyllis, I think, any others?
Yes, there's one more.
Oh, okay, great.
What will be the precautions with COVID? Did you want me to take that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I do know that our district leadership is constantly evaluating the COVID numbers and making decisions based upon that. And so whatever is in place for our K-12 programs, we will have that in place for our pre-K programs, whether it's social distancing, masking, or whatever the protocol may be. But as of now, we do not have that information. I know that is on a part of our board agenda and they are discussing it, so stay tuned and we will be able to share that information with you. Marichelle, while I was talking, additional questions came in.
Okay, great.
Okay, should a student ID be created prior to March 1st?
You can go ahead and take that step if you like, so feel free. You would just go to the online portal and go ahead and select the school year and then submit your information so that you can receive your student ID number. Okay,
and here's another question. How is the pre-K classroom set up at Hull Jackson Montessori, referring to the age groups? And I'll take that one. It is multi-age, starting with preschool through kindergarten. So you'll have 3, 4, and 5-year-olds in a classroom within the Montessori classrooms. And that's at Hull Jackson and Stanford. We have those 2 Montessori programs. And here's another question about Montessori. Does Montessori program cost more? And no, they do not. They are the same price and we use the same sliding scale for Montessori as we do for all other programs. So it would be based on the number of people in your household and annual yearly income. And families attending Montessori could pay anywhere from $0 to up to $144. One more question. Is it harder to get into a Montessori program? It is weighted the same as the other programs. All families that apply by March 31st will get consideration into that first round. I will say that depending on the number of students that will roll up from the preschool Montessori, the number of pre-K students may be reduced because those students that are rolling up from preschool will now be considered pre-K. But it's not harder to get into Montessori. They may not have as many seats. We have another question. Is transportation available? We do not have transportation for pre-K students, general education pre-K students. Some students with IEPs may be transported to school, and when I say IEPs, that's individualized education program. They're in the exceptional education program, but the majority of our students do not ride the bus to school. They are transported by their families. And here's another question. Are there some free pre-K schools? If so, which ones? And do they accept 3-year-olds? Also, do pre-K programs have cutoff times for when students can be dropped off in the morning? Or does pre-K all have the same drop-off time of 8 a.m.? So we probably need to break that question down, Marichelle.
Yes.
And a lot of the answers to that question can be found in the program guide. And if you want to talk about that program guide, Marichelle, I'll take the last part.
Yeah, so the program guide can go ahead and guide you as far as which school sites are going to be fee-based. We do encourage families to definitely look at the sliding scales to see, you know, where you fall within those guidelines. So you can actually see based on how many are in your household and your income for the year, you can project, you know, and predict how much you're probably going to how much your fee may be. Again, the fee can be between 0 and 144 depending on your income as well as your household. So please look at that sliding scale. If you have questions about where you land, feel free to call us at earlylearningprek@mnps.org. And also, as we're talking about costs and fees for a program, if something happens through the year, you know, things do happen in life. Unfortunately, someone may lose their job, or, you know, maybe we go back to school, go back to college. We do have that tuition assistance program as well to assist families. Go ahead, Phyllis.
Okay, and a question within that question asked, do they accept 3-year-olds? So 3-year-olds also can be accepted into the non-fee pre-K seats as well as 4-year-olds. So yeah, the answer to that could be yes. And do pre-K programs have cutoff times for when students can be dropped off in the morning? Most of our programs start at 8 a.m., but there are several programs that have before and after care. And if they do have before and after care and your child participates, then that could be an earlier drop off. The program guide will show you which sites have before and after care, which sites take 3-year-olds, which sites have some fee-based seats as well as seats that for non-paying families. And that program guide is posted on the website.
And if you want, and also I was just going to say, if you want to email us at earlylearningprek@mnps.org, we can also email you a pre-K program guide if you can't find it on the website for some reason.
Yes, these are great questions, guys. And here's another question about Montessori. Is the transition from Montessori to standard schooling easy for the students? And I will say that in our Montessori programs, we have preschool to 4th grade, and which is at Hull, Jackson, and Stanford. I would say that the transition is fairly smooth because many of our families stay within that school site for their elementary schooling. And in many Montessori programs, you'll find that about 3rd or 4th grade, they start transitioning the children from the Montessori program into a traditional schooling. So the transition is not as hard at all. We do have more questions.
Okay.
So here's one. How do I find the school guide on the website? And if we could link that.
You know what? I may actually go back into my presentation. Hold on one second. Okay. Let me see if I can go back. Give me one quick second. It may be slow on our attendee side, but let me bring up that guide again because it seems to be, I just want to make sure everyone has that web link.
Yes.
All right, great. So now the pre-K program guide is up. If you actually want to use that QR code. If you use your phone and kind of point your phone towards that QR code, and it'll create a link. If you go to that link at the bottom of that webpage will be the program guide. Right now, I have to say it's in English only, and we're putting up the translated copies, I believe, early next week, so before it opens. So you should see some translated copies as well, but the English guide is up currently.
Great. Another question.
Mm-hmm.
In the 3 to 5 year old Montessori classroom, do they need to be potty trained, or is there a lower level class for 3-year-old Montessori students who aren't fully potty trained but in progress? And this is particularly at Hull Jackson. So there is not a lower level class for 3-year-olds other than the preschool class and or preschool seats, because the preschoolers are in a multi-age class with 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. And it's not a classroom lower than that. It is not a requirement that children are fully potty trained. We just strongly encourage that families begin the process of potty training their child, so that when they come to school and the teachers put them on a schedule, that will not be unusual for them. All right, we'll hold a few seconds. And Marichelle, I also will say, I would like to encourage families who have questions about specific programs to reach out to those school sites, especially Montessori. They will be happy to connect you with someone in the Montessori program that could answer specific questions. Many of them have tours or may encourage you to go to their website, where you will see a video tour guide of their program, but they would be happy to answer questions. While I was talking, another question came in.
Okay.
Can you describe the Montessori curriculum for pre-K ages 3 to 5 classroom? So, and that is one of those questions that I think probably a staff member at the Montessori site could give you more in-depth, a more in-depth response than what we did within this presentation, but we can tell you that they do use the Maria Montessori Curriculum, which builds upon skills and encourages independence, and children have workstations, and that they move along building upon their skills within their workstations. I really want to encourage you to reach out to Hull Jackson, because they have resources and information that they could share that would give you a lot of information about their program.
And I think that's a good point, Phyllis, especially when you're looking at like Montessori. I really encourage anyone on this call to look at the different programs. As we had said, there's 3 different ones. There's the Montessori, there's our early learning centers, which are just pre-K programs at the school site, and school-based sites. Like elementary schools will have programs. Take a look at each one and see what's the best fit for your child. So definitely explore right now, and before you put in your application. And then don't forget, you could list up to 7 school sites on your application, but make sure you put them in the order of preference.
Great point. I am looking so far. No questions, no additional questions. These were great questions.
Yep, they were. Thank you so much to everyone for your time today. If for some reason you have another question that pops up, just email us at earlylearningprek@mnps.org, and we'll be glad to answer your question there. Also, that website, the earlylearning.mnps.org website, is really good. It has a lot of information. We have a pre-K tab that you can take a look at as well. But again, thank you for your time today. We look forward to your student or your child becoming a pre-K student, and your family being part of our pre-K program. Thank you and have a wonderful day.